We all love video games. It's probably my biggest hobby and one that always brings me comfort and joy every single time I sit down and play a game. Part of what makes this hobby so exciting is all of the innovation that exists inside of it from other passionate individuals that also love gaming and the escape that it offers you. In my head, it's all of that drive and passion that brings individuals to create new exciting things and new ways to experience these video games. This is where the AYN Thor really enters the scene. I'm sure this little handheld has made its way across your social media feeds in the last few weeks to months. It really flooded every single one of mine. There's been something so cool about seeing hundreds or even thousands of retro games being played on this tiny little clamshell device that's so reminiscent of my other favorite handheld of all time, the Nintendo 3DS. All of these different videos explaining the cool, new, impressive technology that's all packed into such a tiny form factor. I was completely enamored, and I knew it was really only a matter of time before I finally bought one. I ordered my AYN Thor on February 22nd. I got my first shipping update on March 16th, and on March 23rd, I received a notification at my front door that someone had arrived, and a package was lightly placed on the table sitting right next to it. That package contained my brand new AYN Thor. As of writing this, I've only had the Thor for a couple of weeks, but there's a lot to unpack and a lot that I want to talk about. Without further ado, I think we get right into it and really explore what makes this system so cool and really understand why it captured so many of us in the gaming industry. So, let's talk about it. Now, there's a few different options that you can explore when going to purchase your own, but for me personally, I picked up the rainbow colorway in the Pro trim. So that means that this contained a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of on storage device, and then all of the other goodies you get like Hall effect joysticks and two unbelievable AMOLED displays. Both the top and bottom screen is made out of glass, the entire thing. And the outside is this really premium feeling plastic that help keeps it safe when the lid is closed. Outside of endlessly scrolling TikTok and Instagram, seeing video after video of the AYN Thor, my journey really began with acquiring all of the retro games that I wanted to, both by ways I can and can't divulge on YouTube. Getting every single game I wanted probably took about a week straight. Knowing the specs of this device, I collected pretty much everything from the Nintendo 3DS and Wii U family that I would want, down to GameCube and PS2, and eventually stopping all the way with the Dreamcast, the NES, and the Sega Genesis. Now, personally, I'm no stranger to emulating. I've loaded up a Steam Deck in the past with over 1,000 games, and I basically have emulation on anything that I can put it on, be it my phone, my 3DS, or even a PSP. I think the craziest thing to me was seeing all of this run in a device that's the same form factor as a 3DS, and seeing all the different games it could play just blew me away. And what's even crazier is that the emulation doesn't just end there. This device is capable of running select Nintendo Switch games and PC games using software like Game Native to do so. The AYN Thor is also running fully off of Android, which opens up the entire Google Play Store, so you have so much you can load into this system. Now, a really big caveat is that the out-of-the-box experience for the AYN Thor is a bit poor. Nothing's loaded onto it for obvious legal reasons, and other than that, it's just a brand new device that you have to set up. So you have to go out of your way to put everything on here, tweak every setting, and really make this thing yours. So for me personally, the first 2 days of owning this device was entirely just dedicated to setting it up. This empty slate could probably feel like a big negative to a lot of people, but for me, it was kind of like a blessing in disguise. One of the coolest things that came about from AYN shipping a completely plain device was that talented individuals were able to really streamline things for others and make this thing feel like a console. And they did that through front ends with music, icons, auto launch, friends list, themes, and an ongoing list, all serving to enhance your experience with this thing and make it feel like a game console. ESDE, Isu, and Cocoon came about and did so in a way that made them extremely popular. Now, out of ESDE, Isu, and Cocoon, Cocoon is the one that I personally decided to move forward with. It contains all of the features I listed previously and so much more, and has such a cool community that is always making new things to make the app even better. Setting everything up can be a little complicated, especially if you're not very tech savvy. But through online resources, a welcoming community, and YouTube, I'm sure that most people will be able to figure it out without too much pain. With the console totally set up, the time for first impressions had finally arrived. Right off the bat, the size and the ergonomics were literally perfect. I've been spending a lot of time with the 3DS recently, and the ergonomics are close enough for me that it felt completely natural. A lot of reviews and videos I've seen have really complained about the ergonomics and pointed out the triggers on the back specifically. To me, they felt totally fine and they did not feel sharp or uncomfortable at all. The screens are incredible. Every time I open the device, I really just can't believe how good everything looks. The buttons feel great, the joysticks feel great. Honestly, I have no complaints when it comes to ergonomics. With physical aspects out of the way, the Cocoon front end might be what just impressed me the most. Linking ROM folders, scraping box art, and setting up individual emulators was completely seamless. One of the favorite things that you can do inside of Cocoon is link it up directly to retro achievements, so that if you're playing a game like Earthbound and you get an achievement, it'll pop up both in the top and bottom screen. Again, really making this feel more console-like. Funny enough, I actually got lucky enough to unbox my AYN Thor on the very day that the newest Cocoon update came out that introduced a theme store, jingles, and a whole bunch of other quality of life features. So I was really using Cocoon in an already really well put together, polished way from day one. I think the biggest one for me was the addition of themes in a theme store, which is full of free community created ways to customize your Thor. Buying and adding themes to the 3DS was one of my favorite features growing up, and customizing the Steam Deck to capture the look that I was going for was almost just as fun as actually playing it. And for the AYN Thor, it's really been no different. I think the biggest part of it for me was really just how easy it was to set up all of this initial theming. From icons to heroes to logos, it was really easy to change and tweak everything. Adding different things like background effects or sound effects when opening up a game or a file really just helped kind of compound onto that. It's so easy, in fact, I've actually been switching my theme almost every single day. I think a big part of all the fun that I've been having is just being able to try out new things easily and switch back if I don't enjoy it. That seamlessness and that quality really just goes into making the AYN Thor feel like a truly full-fledged gaming console and not just another weird ROM emulation machine. I know this is totally different from earlier in the video. I think I really just kind of wanted to go off script here for a minute. I actually wrote an entire script for this section. This is the section all about gaming on the Thor, which is funny enough the most important section, but I think I could do it a lot better if I just kind of went off script here and talked from the heart. Gaming on the Thor has been really fun. It's honestly been incredible. I've been playing games that I haven't played in years, one of those being Earthbound. I've picked it up a few times on my phone, on the 3DS, and given it a shot, even on the Steam Deck. I never really got very far in the game. I always just kind of put it down before I continued getting distracted with something else. As of recording this video, I've made it all the way to Twosome. Experiencing the game on the Thor has been kind of exactly what I needed to, I think, appreciate this game more. I actually remember on the very first day of getting the Thor, like I said, it took me about 2 days to set it up. I downloaded Genshin Impact from the Google Play Store, and even though I don't really play Genshin anymore, I haven't for a few years now, I really just wanted to play something on day one And that was the only thing I could think of that I could use without having to set up a million different emulators or go through a bunch of different settings. And I have to say, out of the box, it was completely seamless. It ran flawlessly, it looked beautifully. Controls were perfect. I didn't have to map anything or do anything different. So that was really cool to see. In my 3DS video, I remember talking about Pilot Wings Resort, which was the perfect game for me because it was very pick up and play. And funny enough, I actually found another game that takes perfect advantage of that portable nature that the AYN Thor has, and that was Crazy Taxi on the Dreamcast. The arcade nature of the game was exactly what I was looking for, and being able to just kind of pick it up, play for a few minutes, and then put it down or close out to try something else was perfect. I know a lot of people talk about choice paralysis when it comes to the AYN Thor, and for me, I don't really have that. I like having all of the consoles, all of the games, everything I could ever want, all at the same time. And I think having a game like Crazy Taxi kind of helps ease me into that more. You know, if I find myself getting caught just kind of infinitely scrolling through games, not sure what to play, I know I can just open Crazy Taxi, have a really good time, and then maybe try to figure out what I want to play from there. Beyond that, something that really surprised me about the AYN Thor was its ability to play Steam games with apps like Game Native or Game Hub. Playing really big heavy hitters like Stardew Valley or Balatro on here has been huge. It is so cool being able to play these PC games in such a small form factor, and I don't have to give anything up. Now, I have tested some more heavy duty games, most recently Mouse PI for Hire. I actually got that running on this thing, which has been so cool. I didn't get very far because I honestly wanted to play it on a bigger screen and more powerful hardware, but it's really cool to know that if I wanted to do another playthrough, grind out some achievements, I would be able to do so with something that fits in my pocket. Now, there's a content creator in the AYN Thor field that mostly makes TikToks or YouTube shorts by the name of Geo. Based off of his videos, he's gotten things like Final Fantasy VII Remake and the Kingdom Hearts series, the new HD re-releases, to run on this thing. And while I haven't personally tried that out yet, it is unbelievably exciting to know that I could play Kingdom Hearts 3 or one of my favorite games of all time, Final Fantasy VII Remake, again on something that fits in my pocket or fits in my backpack and I don't even notice it. Some other really cool things that I've been able to do on the AYN Thor is sideload different games. Some of the ones that immediately come to mind are games like Pokemon Lazarus or games like Pokemon Emerald Seaglass that I've seen a lot of content of but never personally played. I think those have a perfect home on the Thor. And then things get a little weirder with what you can do, because again, this is a full-blown Android device. So I've been able to download games like PokeMMO on here and play it where it runs beautifully. Most recently, I've downloaded Final Fantasy XIV Mobile, which has only ever come out in China. This game has never seen a North American release, but as you can see, not only was I able to sideload it onto my device, but it boots up and it runs well. These are just a few of the really exciting ways that you can play with the AYN Thor, and why I think it's really that end game console that a lot of people are talking about. I've played a game from every major console that I have on here, and I even did an entire playthrough of the original Pikmin entirely on the AYN Thor. And not only did it feel natural to play, but it never crashed, I never had any issues with my save file, and it emulated perfectly. Another thing I kind of want to talk about off script here is how good it is to have two different screens, especially if you don't have to take advantage of both. Let me try to explain that. I've always watched Let's Plays on YouTube or gaming videos, and I've always kind of found it fun to play along with whatever I'm watching. Playing Pokemon Fire Red along with Chugga Conroy when I was younger, or Super Mario Sunshine with the same YouTuber. Most recently, I've been enjoying watching Party Arlie a lot and a lot of her Pokemon content. So when I ventured more into her streaming content and found that she played Earthbound, I actually had Earthbound on the top screen and her playthrough on the bottom screen, and it was really fun. You know, it felt like we were kind of playing along at the same pace and made gaming feel a little less isolated. Things like that are just one example of what you could do with the dual screen AYN Thor, but there's other great creative ways people have thought about to utilize both screens. One is to have the game on top and a guide underneath, which I know would have helped me when I played Final Fantasy X for the first time, or what I did earlier earlier today, which was have 2 different games from the App Store downloading on each screen. You might as well be efficient with your time with how limited it is. I think that's been the biggest thing for me is, screen time itself doesn't bother me. I'm surrounded by them, I work with them, and I grew up with them. The ability to spend that screen time doing something productive, like finishing my backlog or experiencing a new adventure, rather than doom scrolling on TikTok, it gave me a reason to put my phone down and really spend my time and attention somewhere that I find more productive. But with all that said, that still isn't even where I think the AYN Thor shines the most. Where I think it shines the most is with dual screen gaming. Let's talk about that.
Who will help you on your Ranger missions. Capture the power. Pokemon Ranger, Shadows of Almia, only for Nintendo DS.
The AYN Thor really shines when it comes to dual screen gaming, specifically talking about the Nintendo DS or Nintendo's 3DS family. Every single DS game I've played runs smooth as butter, and the ability to buy packs of stylus for touchscreens on Amazon has really helped make this console feel like I'm playing it on original hardware. Not only that, but it protects my device from fingerprints or smudges, which is something I know would bother me and has been a hot topic when people have discussed the AYN Thor in the past. One absolute massive thing for me is the ability to emulate games like Pokemon Ranger or The World Ends With You. Games that just have a weird control scheme that's really touchscreen focused. They've always been notoriously hard to emulate in the past. Utilizing the stylus and the AYN Thor's touchscreen dual screen capabilities, it's made the whole thing completely seamless. And beyond that, 3DS games feel like magic. To see these games upscaled is unbelievable, and to have it done in a console that has the exact same form factor and portability as the original Nintendo 3DS, it's really been impressive. I mean, every single game looks and runs flawlessly on this device with little to no tweaking required. And I'm really excited to give a lot of games a shot that I haven't played or tried in years. Specifically, I've been really wanting to revisit Pokemon Black and White, Black and White 2, and the Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon games, which, now that I think about it, that's a lot of Pokemon games. This thing really is the perfect Pokemon machine. Every single Pokemon game ever released runs on the AYN Thor, which is so cool. You can play Pokemon Stadium and Stadium 2 on the N64. You can play Heart Gold and Soul Silver from the Nintendo DS. Or you can even go as modern as you want and play Pokemon Legends ZA. But the big one for me is Pokemon Coliseum on the GameCube. With Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness recently releasing on the Nintendo Switch, a replay of Pokemon Coliseum has been calling to me like the Green Goblin's mask calls to him, and I know that one is a high priority for me to get through. Having all of that choice, all of that freedom, and all of that power in a console that fits in your pocket or in a small part of your backpack, that is what makes this a truly revolutionary device to me. Despite all of the love and praise that I've given this console so far in this video, there are definitely a few shortcomings. The speakers are abysmal. That is one complaint I've heard a lot, and one complaint I can definitely vouch for. But there are EQ tweaks that exist that really fix things and make it sound a lot better. You can find those on YouTube, or I can leave a link to them below in the description. The setup process can be pretty rough, and while it was something that I personally enjoyed, if you're not very tech savvy or creative or really just patient, I can definitely see how it's probably the console's biggest roadblock. Funny enough, to kind of build off of that, the Thor's biggest downfall is probably how successful it is. Let me try to explain that further. When you go to buy an AYN Thor, you can't actually just purchase the console. You pre-order it in a batch, and you have to wait for it to ship to you, possibly waiting a couple weeks to a couple months. I personally bought my AYN Thor in batch 3, and we're already in batch 6. ridiculous. To build off of that, the chip, RAM, and storage shortage has really hit the AYN Thor hard. If you buy a AYN Thor today, it is categorically worse than the AYN Thor that I buy in batch 3. You will have slower storage and it will be significantly more expensive than what I paid for it. Combine that with some of the other negatives, the weight, shipping from overseas, third-party shipping woes, and a higher price point. You really have to sit there and take a moment to think if the AYN Thor is right for you. It is a revolutionary console, one that I love and one that I love to see take the internet by storm and expand the emulation community. But it's starting to price out its main fan base and get up there with the Steam Deck or a Nintendo Switch 2 or even a pimped out Nintendo 3DS. It unfortunately is in a place right now where, while I used to say it was a no-brainer, you definitely have to sit and think about it for a little bit. But outside of all of that, I truly have nothing bad to say about this device. You all know how much I love the 3DS and that entire era of Nintendo, and how much I missed that whimsy of that console. And to see a console that is so powerful not only mimic its design and function, but recapture a lot of that same magic and whimsy with these passionate, talented people making these incredible new front ends, it really just kind of is the cherry on top of an already very cool console. Since recording this segment, I've actually had the Thor for a couple months and I've really enjoyed it. If there's anything that you think I'm missing out on, please let me know down below. I would love to make sure I do absolutely everything that I can with this little device and get the most out of it. With that being said, those are all of my thoughts, feelings, and opinions on the AYN Thor. Do we share any of the same opinions? I would truly love to hear and would love to see what you think of this console. So definitely let me know down below. But with that being said, I want to thank you all sincerely from the bottom of my heart for continuing to support me and watching this video all the way to the end. If you enjoyed it, please go ahead and like and subscribe, as it truly does help me. And I can't wait to see you guys next time for whatever video I cook up next.